Los Angeles. The LAPD FBI Operation Save Our Streets Task Force has also been assigned to this investigation. The architect of the SOS Task Force, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Robert Clark from the FBI, his Los Angeles field office, is also with us here today and behind me. To recap this tragedy, on Wednesday at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, Ming Yu, 23 years of age, and his friend Ying Wu, also 23 years of age, were sitting in Ming's car, which was double parked at this exact location. It had been raining that evening. These young, hard-working graduate students were talking like they had done many times before. We have been told by friends and associates that Ming and Yang were serious about their studies and often studied late into the night and used these late-night meetings as an opportunity to talk outside the house where she rented a modest room. It appears at this point that a suspect, who was unknown to us at this time, approached Ming's vehicle and at some point pulled out a handgun and fired approximately 2 or 3 shots into the driver's side window. Both Ming and Yang were struck by the gunfire. It appears by the evidence at the scene and the witness statements that Ming was able to get out of the car, staggered to a nearby house, and collapsed on the front porch. A possible suspect in this case was last seen running southbound on Raymond Avenue. At about the same time, a black sedan was also seen leaving the area. The only description that we have at this point in the investigation is that the suspect was wearing dark clothing. We do not know for certain the suspect's gender or race. LAPD and fire department units responded to the scene within minutes and transported the victims to California Medical Center, where they succumbed to their injuries and were pronounced dead. The investigation into these murders have been virtually non-stop since Wednesday morning. Evidence of the scene has been recovered and is being analyzed. The area has been canvassed repeatedly, and witnesses have been interviewed and re-interviewed in hopes of finding bits and pieces of information that will help us. In the end, a successful resolution of this case will only happen with the help of the public. I am pleading for their help in this case. If you, who are hearing this today, were in this area in the early morning hours on Wednesday and saw anything, please give us a call. If you hear a rumor about this case, please give us a call. If you heard someone brag about this incident, please give us a call. As you can see, this is a great community. This is a great neighborhood. That in the past has faced many challenges. However, with the community's help, this area has improved dramatically over the years. In the past 5 years, in the area immediately surrounding this, in the reporting district around this, we've had a total of 3 murders in this area in the last 5 years. In fact, violent crime in this area is down nearly 50% as it relates to just 5 years ago. It is for that reason that I believe that we see a greater increase in the number of students as they move farther west of the campus of the University of Southern California. Please help me find these children. Please help the families that will be coming from China to recover their loved ones, for me to be able to tell them soon that we have resolved this case. As a parent of a college student, as a parent of a graduate college student who does not live at home, I can relate to these parents. I can't imagine being thousands and thousands of miles away and having something tragic like this happen and not be there to be able to hold my child. It's the worst news that a parent could ever have. And I ask you, please, for your help. I'd like to introduce Mr. Jackson from USC.
and wonderful students and treasured memories. He was from Yunnan province of China, a family of rice mills, lots of trees. His father worked for the police department and her mother was retired. She attended university in her home country before coming to USC. Famous for achieving in China, yet before coming to USC. His mother is a high school teacher. His father works for an insurance company. As we heard from the chief, they were very close friends who supported each other, studied hard in class, and formed close bonds and friendships as faculty in the Potomac School of Engineering and with other students from China, from America, and around the world. We are deeply sorry they are no longer with us. We want to thank everyone who has expressed their support and sympathy for our USC community, our neighbors here in Los Angeles, China, and around the world where we have many parents and students and alumni and friends and colleagues and supporters. We sincerely appreciate all of their phone calls, email messages, flowers, and other expressions of support. We are a strong university community and are supporting each other as we mourn the deaths of these brilliant and accomplished young people. We are now focused on supporting Ming and his families and friends in this time of tragedy. And we will wait for them to come to Los Angeles and we'll be here shortly. That is our focus on supporting families and students. Every student is precious to us. No matter where they're from, no matter what their dreams are. And as the chief said, we really need the support of the public to find out and get this so that we can bring them to justice and bring some sense of comfort to the families. Now I'd like to introduce Senior Vice President for Administration at USC.
Good afternoon. My name is Todd Dickey. I'm Senior Vice President for Administration at USC. And in that capacity, I have First, let me express the university's deep appreciation to the city, to Mayor Villaraigosa, to Chief Beck, to Deputy Chief Gannon, and to everyone at the LAPD. We know they are doing everything in their power to solve this crime. We know there are a lot of people working very long hours to find out who did this crime. USC and the LAPD have a very close working relationship, and we're proud of the efforts we've undertaken together in improving safety and security in the neighborhoods around the university. In fact, we've seen a significant decrease in crime in the neighborhoods around USC in recent years. Working in cooperation with the LAPD, USC is supporting this investigation today by offering an award of $125,000 to anyone with information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for this crime. Please, if anyone out there has any information that can help us solve this crime, we encourage you to come forward and contact the LAPD. On behalf of everyone at USC, let me thank everyone who has expressed their support and sympathy to our university community and to the families of our two students. Thank you.
Jacqueline Hamilton, and we were host family to Ying Wu. She's lived with us since June of last year. She was a very determined young woman who enjoyed cooking and spent a lot of time in the library. I still can't quite believe that Ying is never coming home again. She ate dinner with us. She was a member of our family, as are the other two Chinese students who live with us and who have been devastated by this. I've lived in this neighborhood since 2001. We chose to live here intentionally because we could see it was a neighborhood that needed people to invest in it, but it had a lot of promise. And in the 11 years since my husband, my daughter, and I moved here, we've hosted probably 25 international students, mostly from USC, and really enjoyed the richness that they brought to our lives. We've seen this neighborhood go from the state, which the chief described to, of having some real crime, to never having to worry about coming home late at night, never fearing that someone was going to somehow invade our home. So this has been a triple shock because it's completely unexpected and untypical of what's happened in this area in the last many years. What I can tell you about Ying, and what I hope will motivate someone to come forward, is that I've never seen her happier than she was in the last 3 weeks. I don't even know if you can officially call it dating, but she and Ming had started seeing each other a lot, and we're at that stage in a relationship where you really find that person interesting, and you can't bear it apart. And they would often spend time having ridden in their bicycles, which was how they always traveled. I never knew there was a car involved because they always traveled on bicycles. They would spend time perched in the driveway, straddling their bikes, talking for up to an hour. Come home, come in, why are you outside? Come sit on the porch. Sometimes they'd sit on the porch and talk for a half an hour or more because I think they were really getting to like each other a lot and couldn't bear it apart. And she has had a smile on her face for the last several weeks that hard study didn't put there. She lived modestly. She had a roommate, as did Ming. They had many roommates, from what I understand. They cooked at home. They didn't eat out. They didn't live extravagantly. They didn't have expensive wardrobes. They were modest students trying to make a life for themselves and achieve the promise that they saw available to them through a good education. That these people have been cut down before they reach the age of 24 is astounding, and I plead with anyone who has any information about this to come forward and help us make sure that these young people's deaths do not go unaddressed. We're devastated by their loss. LAPD has been great. I've joked with the family members of mine who have called with concern that right now certainly this is the safest block in all of Los Angeles. But even without this increased attention, live in an area that deserves to be considered a nice neighborhood. And I hope that as you in the press and as the rest of the people in the world learn about our neighborhood, they appreciate the lovely architecture, the close relationships. I know my neighborhood, and frankly, I know that someone out there knows who did this. And I beg you, please come forward.